What are the implications from your perspective if the American public comes to believe that Israel was involved, planned, and carried out the 9/11 attacks?
You know, even Henry Kissinger and the CIA said something that I agree with. You know, I don't normally agree with Kissinger or the CIA, but I do in this. And both of them said that Israel will be no more within a short period of time. I believe the CIA predicted 20 years back in 2007, something like that. And Kissinger said within 10 years, just a few years back himself. I wholeheartedly agree with that. For me, it's absolutely obvious that despite the fact that Israel enjoys enormous power right now, which isn't really organic to Israel, Israel is like the favorite little fiefdom. It's the ultimate criminal state. And the real power behind that, which we can definitely trace, is the bankers. The bankers who have literally an infinite supply of money are running the world right now. They own our government. They own pretty much all the Western governments. They own the police. They own the court system. They own the corporations. They own the mainstream media. They completely own Hollywood. And they virtually infiltrate and control every non-NGO and every kind of meaningful social institution you can name because they have the money to do it. So Israel's their favorite little plaything. So I don't think that Netanyahu or any of these other criminals really have any power. Maybe some a little bit more than others, but they're all puppets, just like our presidents and all the other heads of state. They're all puppets. They all work for the bankers. So they tell us a bunch of lies every election cycle, but they actually follow the orders of the bankers. And if they don't, well, the last one who didn't follow the orders was John F. Kennedy, and he did not follow the orders. In fact, he defied the Federal Reserve Bank openly. So Israel is living on borrowed time, if you ask me. And I don't think there's really much doubt of that. The question is Israel going to exercise something known as the Samson option? Because now, thanks to our treasonous governments, thanks to John F. Kennedy being assassinated, it is now a reality that Israel has approximately 200 to 400 nuclear weapons. Thanks to Germany, who has gifted Israel with Dolphin-class submarines that have now been nuclear armed, Israel has the capacity to deliver those nuclear weapons anywhere on the planet with virtually no notice. So the reality we're living in now is this possibility of the so-called Samson option. And for those that don't know what that is, they should Google it. And don't trust me, Google it and verify it for yourself. It's an old biblical story, effectively paraphrasing here. Samson, a Jew, was basically facing an enemy force that was overwhelming. He knew he was not going to be able to beat it back. So what he did was he lured these forces into the temple, and then he pushed down the pillars of the temple, and he killed himself and everyone else. This is the Samson option, and the modern day equivalent, according to high-level thinkers within Israel, is that if Israel's security, if Israel's existence is threatened, that we will take out the whole world, that we will use nuclear weapons against the whole world, that we will use the threat of destroying the whole world if our existence is threatened. Now keep in mind the bankers own Israel. It's their favorite little plaything. It has no extradition treaties with anyone in the world. It's involved in blood diamond trading. It's in sex trafficking, organ trafficking. It's committing active genocide by the legal definition of the word according to Black's Law Dictionary, genocide. It is the ultimate criminal state. So how much room is there for Israel to continue? The only reason why Israel has existed as long as it has is because it's basically been in the dark. The powers that be in the mainstream media have kept it in the dark. The truth about it has never been exposed. The light has not been exposing it. Now the light is exposing it, and that's why it's living on borrowed time. So the question becomes, is Israel going to exercise the so-called Samson option? And how much more of American taxpayers' money is going to be used for Israel to produce even more nuclear weapons and more military technology to the point that we already face this monstrous threat? It is incredible. Americans are the main benefactors of Israel, this ultimate criminal state. When the American people finally realized, not just 9/11, but how about the USS Liberty? We get back to the USS Liberty in 1967. The lesson that was taught to Israel, keep in mind this was not too long after Kennedy's assassination, and that traitor, this incredible perverse traitor, Lyndon Baines Johnson, was now in the office, totally bought and paid for by the Zionist Jewish supremacist lobby. And it was in 1967 that Israel literally attacked a defenseless ship, the USS Liberty, in international waters, blue skies, flying the stars and stripes, killed 34 American sailors, really did everything it could to sink that ship. And I would argue that it was divine intervention that it didn't sink. If that ship had sunk, we had nuclear weapons that were fitted on Phantom jets that were flying towards Cairo. The end of the world could have happened right back in 1967 due to our best friend and ally, little old Jewish state of Israel. And this is the reality today. Their power has only increased, and the lesson from the USS Liberty was, you can do anything you want. Johnson and other traders have always covered this up successively for decades. I know some of the survivors of the USS Liberty. So it's no surprise what they were involved in 9/11. Again, the lesson is Israel can do anything. I was on a ship, a humanitarian ship heading to Gaza in 2010, and Israel attacked that ship in international waters right next to where the Liberty was attacked. And I witnessed the dead bodies. I was there and involved in disarming 2 of these commandos. They literally murdered 9 people on the day, 6 of them provably executed. I've read the autopsy reports and the ballistics reports. So Israel is the ultimate criminal state, enjoying the favor of the real powers that be, the bankers who have an infinite supply of money. The lesson to them is always be that you can do anything and everything and you get away with it because you have the favor of the powers that be. So how far are we going to take this? I don't know. But when the American people finally figure out how their sons and daughters have been sacrificed for this nefarious, evil, psychotic agenda of greater Israel and whatnot, they're going to be, to put it bluntly, pissed. They're going to be angry. And I don't blame them. I just wish they'd figure it out sooner, because it's only going to cause more death and more mayhem, not just for the American people. Let's take a look at the Middle East and what's happening there. It is ungodly. And those people running around cutting off heads, mostly Muslims, but also Christians and whatnot, those people work for us through our proxy, Saudi Arabia. All of this is Israeli Jewish supremacist policy. And if it doesn't stop soon, it could be the end of the world for everyone.